Welcome back to the Self-Esteem and Confidence Mindset podcast with me, Johnny Pardo. Today, I welcome back my good friend and brother, Jeff, to the show, and I'm looking forward to our conversation. We're going to cover many things. We'll be talking about peak performance, going to be talking about mental clarity, going to be touching on men's mental health at some point, I'm sure, and many other subjects today. So just a quick introduction to Jeff. So Jeff is a dynamic speaker, mental performance coach, and podcaster with over 2 decades of success in sales leadership across various industries. Over the past 4 years, he has dedicated himself to entrepreneurship, helping high performers, including leaders, veterans, athletes at all levels, and former athletes achieve mental clarity and peak performance. Jeff's mission is to guide individuals towards peace with their past so it no longer holds them back in the present. So welcome to the show today again, Jeff. Glad to have you back and dive into this conversation today. So
Absolutely, brother.
Of course, we speak every week, so it's good to create a podcast, or most weeks, great to create a podcast today. So Absolutely. Jeff, what, just for the listener who might be new to your work and discovering you for the first time, it seems like you got a lot of drive towards really helping this mental clarity and peak performance. What's got you so driven and focused on that area? Is it something you've always been fascinated by, or is it just kind of a transition in the recent years?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been fascinated by it just from my past experience in athletics and also just in leadership and sales. I fully believe in peak performance and mindset performance. And within that, though, I realize there's still such a mass amount of audience that's still seeking for the right type of connection, the right type of person that can kind of help guide it and lead them in that direction. And that's also part of the reason why I've really started to lean more into the public speaking. It's something that was really the reason why I got into coaching to begin with, to really start planting more seeds and be able to help people maybe break through into another side of things that helps them see things from a different perspective. Because really that's what life's all about, is our own perspective, and hopefully plant a seed for them that they can continue to water and move the needle in the right direction. And if people want to work with me on a one-to-one level, that's really the juice of really where I'm at, is with that, and just really connecting the mind-body connection and fusing the two together. So yeah.
That's awesome. And what's the mind-body connection for you?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because my logo kind of speaks to it. For the branding people that are out there and listening, it's my logo's got half of it's a brain, half of it's a flame, and the flame is really kind of the internal work, right? And it's the gut, it's the intuition, it's the thing that kind of keeps us fueled. And my thing, and what I really try to do is, I understand mindset is everything. I also understand that mindset can be our worst enemy if we allow it to be. So for me, I really try to fuse people being able to lean in and make the decisions from their intuition, which is their heart and their gut area, and then use their brain as the strategy to kind of create the actual, from that decision, create the actual way forward with their brain. And that's really the driving force of kind of fusing that mind-body connection, and also understanding where they're at, why they respond the way that they do, so that they can respond better moving forward. Because if the body, as you know, is sending signals to the brain that something's wrong, the brain's going to respond in kind to a possible wounded scenario. So it's really trying to help them see and understand that side of things a little bit better, to where that they can actually move forward and have better performance based off of understanding who they truly are and being at peace with certain things that might be unresolved within them.
Okay, yeah. So it's almost, just correct me if I'm wrong, it always sounds like it's sort of helping them sort of lead more from maybe the body in an intuitive sense, but not leading from the mind, but allowing the mind or the brain to direct, or sort of not direct, make plans for them rather than
Correct.
be in charge. Is that right?
Yeah, because we tend to override our body, and our body actually communicates at about 80% to a 20, like an 80-20 ratio. So where the body's communicating 80% more to the brain than the brain actually communicates with the body. And it's we just override that because we're always overpowering and overcoming, but we don't always understand why we make the decisions that we do. So it's about leaning in, checking in with ourself, like what is our heart telling us, what's happening with our heart. And if our heart's saying one thing but our brain's saying something else, it's about helping people lean into making the decision with their heart, and then from there, with that decision now being in place, they can actually strategize with the way forward with their mind and be able to move the needle forward. Because really, the mind is a strategy thing, and that's if the more we can utilize the mind for strategy, the better, and allowing our decision making to be fused from a heart centered place.
I love it. How do you personally or uh, come into a more heart? It's difficult. It can be a challenge, but how do you kind of get into a more heart centered place for yourself?
I mean, it's for me, it's mostly through mindfulness practices, just anything that really helps me tap into me, whether it be through meditation, breath work has always been a very huge one for me. A lot of times when my mind is just racing and it's hard for me to quiet my mind on meditation, I do journaling. And then of course, grounding is such a huge thing for me, earthing, grounding, whatever you want to, how you want to contextualize it. Those things have been really key for me. And I would say probably from an external, like a extra thing that I do is I do this practice where I kind of close my eyes, and I see my higher self rising above myself, and seeing how something that's coming, whether it be some sort of suffering, a pain, could be something good, but seeing something that's coming to me and seeing it for what it is, not more than it is, and allowing it to work through me and then leaving for me. So I kind of visualize this thing, then it really helps me get grounded, be present, and allow myself to be at peace with whatever that decision may be, and even in the most difficult decisions. And I do it for things that are I know inherently are good for me too, because it's about also detaching from, or being non-attached to the actual outcome or the situation. Could be someone who's saying, "Oh, thank you so much. You did such a great job," and seeing it for what it is, being grateful for it, but then not allowing myself to stay stuck in that to where I feel like I need that validation for my own existence. So it's really kind of that allows me to stay at peace, allows me to be present, and to be in a more heart-centered place.
I like that, like seeing it from sort of like a higher self kind of perspective sounds, yeah, really powerful. And yeah, that's given me some like real thought on that because yeah, there's at times like we can have like challenges and a lot going on and the mind can be racing, but
Yeah.
yeah, sounds like for what you're saying, it's about finding some time to really connect with yourself, whether that's a mindful sort of breath work or meditation's been really helpful for you.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everybody has their theories. A lot of people have their, when the morning, when the day type of mentality where and some people have crazy morning routines, which are great if you have the time to do them. But mass majority of the population is just struggling to find 15 to 20 minutes. And I think that it's within that of starting small and then seeing if we can get people and encourage people to start small and lean into just a small 10 to 15 minute practice in the morning, or maybe it's in the evening, whatever it is, even middle of the day. I mean, whatever works for them in their schedule, to really realize that they can do this. Like everybody can make 10 to 15 minutes, that it's just about breaking that down into their individual day and what it looks like so that they can start dedicating that time for themselves, because that's usually what happens, right? People don't make that time for themselves, and because they don't, they lose sense of who they are, and that's when the constant suffering and pain starts to build up, and a lot of the negative emotions and negative frequencies that we can tend to operate on as humans.
Totally. Yeah, just finding that time each day. I think for me, I've I do the breath work and the meditation. I must admit is something I'm getting more back into. Like breath work's been the frequent one, but for me, like the silence, just walking in silence, no phone allowed. Might be in my pocket. I try and keep it away if not, but sometimes you need it. But like try and it will be off at least, or kind of on airplane mode or whatever. But just finding silence for 30 minutes and just walking with myself. I find it's crazy what kind of insights you can get. I don't know if you've had like that where you get kind of just insights or downloads, as some people might like to call it, coming to you.
Yeah, 100%. Walking is such a great one. And I actually, because based off where I live now in Austin, it's a little bit further outside the city, or I was downtown for a couple of years and decided to come out, get a little bit closer to nature. Because of that, though, whenever I drive quite a bit. So I do that a lot of times, even in my truck, is I'll have no music, no podcast, nothing. And as I'm just driving, it's almost kind of like the mental, you got to stay alert, obviously, when you're driving, just like when you're walking, you're just kind of doing your thing. But in that, I have a lot of downloads that will come up while I'm even driving and just things like along those lines. And sometimes what I'll do is if it's a good one or something that I really want to focus on more after I get done driving, is I'll just, do like a little voice note to myself to remind myself to kind of go back there and just to kind of work through whatever that was. But yeah, those are great times to really, because we're all in a hustle culture type of way, and the more we can step away from that or utilize the times that might be called down times, whether it's just we're walking, riding a bike, driving our vehicle, whatever the case may be, and using public transportation, utilize those times and don't just waste them like on your phone. Utilize those moments to be fully focused and allow yourself to process some things that are actually coming through for you, because those can be very time consuming points of life where we're stuck in traffic or we're commuting somewhere. So utilize that to the best of your ability. And or if whether it's that or and you're done doing that, listening to a good audio book or a podcast that is educational and beneficial, that can also inspire and encourage new downloads to kind of come up, or things that maybe you hadn't thought of before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get inspired just by some good information and by time alone as well.
100%.
Crazy the things that sort of like come up. Jeff, I know you've done like some fasting. Yeah, it's that. What kind of benefits have you gained from like fasting, whether it's mental or physical, if any?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, it's like the full gamut, right? It's psychological, it's physical, and it's physiological. Everything that kind of can be encompassed within fasting is huge. And I like to do a lot of water fasts. I've currently on basically about a 90-day kick until my birthday at the end of August, that I'm going to be every 2 weeks doing some sort of a fast of at least 2 days, if not closer to three. This last one last week I did was 80 hours, where it's just water. I usually use electrolytes just because it's, to me, it's important to continue to put nutrients into your body, Himalayan salt or kosher salt, maybe Celtic salt, something like that, to where it replenishes some of the minerals and keeps your body hydrated a little bit better. And I'll also do black coffee in the morning. Depending on the website you look at, black coffee is usually fine. I still take my supplements like magnesium and stuff in the morning, or I mean in the evening. But yeah, I mean, for me, the benefits are just massive. It starts out really as a mental thing, when the hunger pains start coming in and just overriding the hunger pains. I would say after that, though, just the physical effects, I feel my body starting to feel clean. It's like giving my body a chance to rest and recharge and regenerate things that maybe I've been suppressing or not allowing to kind of work through. It's great for my gut. It's great for my joints. My joints tend to start to feel like they're kind of healing in certain areas that might be ailments, where it's just giving them more of a rest and they're not having to work so hard. It's really quite profound. I still work out when I do it. I just don't go as extreme as I usually would. just to get some additional like cardio burn or just a little bit of weightlifting, because obviously some of the effects of that, you can start to lose some muscle mass if you're not careful. But some of it really is, I don't do it for weight loss. That's the big thing I would encourage most people, if anyone's listening, about like, oh, well, what about weight loss? You do lose some weight, obviously, but you usually gain it back pretty quickly. My big thing of what I look for is, on average, a pound of body weight is about 3,500 calories. If I go through 3 days and I burn collectively over 10,000 calories in those 3 days, my guess is that I'll usually lose 9 pounds in 3 days, but I'll gain back six. And though that variance of the calorie deficit is usually where the difference might be. So that I should only gain back about 6 pounds and still have about 3 pounds that's like that I actually officially did lose during the process if I do it properly. But really, it's more for me. It's all about just the benefits of my health, my gut biome, just my skin. My skin tends to really reap a lot of benefits from it, and also, like I said, my joints. I've had some knee injuries in the past, and hip and lower back injuries, so those tend to feel considerably better. And of course, the going back into it, it's really about the way that you like the nutrition you put in your body the immediate couple of days after is really key, and how you kind of get back into it. So yeah.
That's awesome just to hear like the benefits that you've got from fasting, and I know, yeah, it's something people are talking about. Yeah, alongside all the other works you do, like with the breath work and the meditations as well. So that's awesome. Jeff, just before we like sort of like wrap up today, I just wanted to ask you if there was anything you wanted to like re-emphasize that might be important to you or feels cool to say, whether that you've already said it or it's something else. And yeah, where can the listener find out more about you? Because I know you're offering a lot of value out there to people.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, man. I would say, in relation to what we've talked about today, and also just with like the fasting, is all of it really for me is what everything I do now, all circumferences around one particular word, and that's just presence. And everything I'm doing is allowing myself to be that much more present, feeling into my body, understanding what my body's saying to myself, also how I show up for others. Because fasting tends to really kind of make some things feel a little uncomfortable. So even when you're communicating with people when you're fasting, it can sometimes you can find yourself a little bit more on edge, and it allows me to lean into that edge to know that I don't have to respond based off of what my body's even saying. It's a great way to make a mental shift and say I can still respond from a really high energy, positive perspective. So for anybody, really, it's about leaning into presence. It's about leaning in and being the most focused, most alive person in the very present moment that you are. Anybody who wants to reach out to me, they can obviously reach out to me on Instagram. It's athletes.arete. That's ARETE. That's my Instagram handle. And of course, on LinkedIn is a great one as well. Just Jeff Murray on LinkedIn. I'm actually just rebranded the podcast, and it's going to be it's still going to be talking about high performance, but it's going to be all around presence, because that's really the thing that I'm going to be speaking on. If people want to reach out to me for that as well, just hit me up on Instagram or LinkedIn. I'd be happy to talk to see what that will look like and how I can show up and support the people that you would like me to speak to.
Amazing, Jeff. Yeah,
Awesome,
be
brother.
sure to put your Instagram and LinkedIn below, and yeah, definitely reach out to Jeff.
Great,
So
man.
thank you, Jeff.
Appreciate it, brother. Thanks for having me on, man.
Awesome. So that concludes our episode for today. And remember to lead with your heart and not with fear.